People are wondering, how do I got my mids and highs so loud, clean, crisp? People are wondering, how do I got my mids and highs so loud, clean, crisp, and clear? Even though I'm not using the instrument to actually set my gains. First off, I'm using Def Bonds mids, which they usually have a high sensitivity on them, meaning that I don't have to set my gain that high to get that loudness from them. And that's one of the things I do love about Def Bonds mids. And I would say out of all the drivers, speakers that I've tried, they are the loudest ones and best ones. But they don't have much mid bass. If you guys are looking for that. If I do want some mid bass, I'm gonna be playing with my 50 and 80 hertz. I'll move that up. If I wanna just cut my subs off, I'll play with the 50 and 80 and move that up a little bit to get a little bit more mid bass. But I'm not really looking for mid bass, mid-range bass, because I let the subwoofers do that for me. I do have a little bit of mid bass with my 8-inch, but I don't prefer it. I kind of took a step back when I went from the DS18 8-inch to the Def Bonds, but I wanted all my mids to match up with each other. So I'm still happy with it. It's still loud, but it's a little less. I did go backwards when it came to loudness with the 8-inch. This video, I'm going to be changing based off the suggestions from my OG, Biggie, the guy that I met yesterday. He told me some things that I should try as far as the mono amp. So I'm gonna be doing that on camera. I'm gonna drive off and see how it sounds compared to how I already have it set. And the second reason why I believe my mids and highs are so high is because I set my amps based on Ella Mai's songs and also Alina Berez's. I feel like when it comes to production, they have the highest quality when it comes to their vocals and also the instruments. It feels like and seems like you can hear everything in their songs. There is no distortion whatsoever. So if you're gonna set your mids and highs based on ear, I believe you should use their songs, which is Ella Mai and also Alina Berez. I'm gonna be playing with the monoblock amp first, based on what my OG told me to change it to, which is turn the low pass filter off on the head unit and set my low pass filter to 250 on the monoblock amp. I'm going to be trying that first and see how it sounds, and then I'm going to get back to you. And the third reason why my mids and highs are so loud is because I'm using H Yonker tweeters. They handle a lot of power and they are super loud, meaning they haven't blown yet. Now I think I've blown one or two when I was having some issues out of my left front door. I don't know what was going on with that door. I changed out some crossovers and that seemed to have helped. I haven't blown a tweeter in a while in that left door, and I am using H Yonkers for my tweeters. Now, one of my tweeters above my ear on my passenger, in the driver's seat, is this TST-120. It was sounding good for about a week, and then I blew one. I changed it out with another one and it blew like the next day. So I don't recommend these. They do sound good. I think they'll last for you, have them on less power, but like I said, I have about 1300 watts going to my mids and highs, and these just did not survive. So that's what I'm using for my highs. I do have one kicker small speaker, which is a 2-inch, 2.5 inch, and my sensor dash. And then I have two other small speakers that are made by Audio Frog, and I forget the wattage on those. I think they're like 50 watts RMS. I can barely hear them, but I do hear them. So that's how I got my mids and highs so loud. I have a lot of drivers inside of my car. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to say I got 9 tweeters in here. Let's count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I got 9 tweeters in here. All right, so right now I got it set to 35 just to turn it all the way down, and I'm about to turn it all the way up to the max, which is 250. All right, let's see how that sounds. So he suggested, and a whole lot of other people suggested, that I turn my low pass filter to off and use the crossover only on the head unit or only on the amp, which we'll be using the one only on the amp. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off and that way I'm not using the head unit's crossover at all for the subs. Okay. So it didn't quite sound right on that setting. It made that sound that I don't like, more like a clank sound rather than bass. So I definitely didn't like that. So I'm gonna turn this back on, and I'm gonna leave it at a 40 hertz with a negative 36 dB slope and see how that sounds. Trying every setting on the head unit from 31.5 all the way up to 80, it gave me this sound where it sounded like something was clanking in the back of here. Like the end of the bass note, there was something on the tail end of it that didn't quite sound right, which is why I found myself putting it at the 40 hertz low pass filter with the negative 36 dB slope, which I don't get that sound on the tail end of that sound wave. And it actually sounds like frequencies are fighting with each other when I have it on different low pass filters past the 40. Now below the 40, I don't get that. I only get that when I try to raise my slope up past the negative 36 dB. I'll start getting that clank sound. Somewhere back here you can hear it off the tail end of that bass note. And so at the 40 mark with the negative 36 dB slope, it sounds so much better right there. And when I got into E's Big E vehicle yesterday, when I got in and started listening to his music, he had that clank sound too that I heard. He allowed me to change his settings, and it took the clank sound away. And he could see that there was a clear difference between how his system initially started or initially sounded and how it sounded afterwards. So if you guys have your crossovers at anything above 40 and above a 36 dB slope, I suggest you try it my way to see how you actually like it. And I guarantee there will be something of a better bass response, in my opinion. Anybody's cars that has anything over that I've gotten in and their crossover was past 40 and their slope was up, it always ended with some type of weird sound to me. So Big E, he ended up liking the way that I had it because it took away that clanking sound at the end of the bass note, and it gave him more of a clean, clear bass response, bass note, bass. It was actually bass without that extra sound, if you understand what I'm saying. So give the 40 hertz low pass filter a try with the negative 36 dB slope, and just kind of tell me what you think versus just saying it's wrong. And with the amp bit on a 250 hertz low pass filter, I didn't get a difference. When I put it back at the 40 with a negative 36 dB slope, it still sounded the exact same as I had it in the beginning. So it doesn't matter if I have it on the 65 or the 250, it still sounds the same. I didn't hear no difference in it. So I'm gonna probably just leave it where it's at for a little bit, go through some more songs to verify that my sound is still there, that I like. And if not, then I'll end up just switching it back. But I'm trying to perfect this, trying to perfect it and learn more. I'm trying to learn and also teach and learn. So you guys, give me a break out there. did manage to get these wire furrows in, so I'm gonna be installing those on the positive and negative wires to see if that helps with those hex screws coming untightened. I don't think it will, but we'll try it anyway. All right.